Yes.
2, 1. And we are live with the Wild West Crypto Show, broadcasting live from Frankfurt at the World Blockchain Summit. I'll tell you what, it's been an interesting day so far. I was able to catch up with Kenneth O'Taller.
Yes.
I hope I said
you got it a little bit, but anyway, yes.
And he has a really interesting project, and we were just talking off screen about it. And it was tell me a little bit more about it. It sounds like kind of like a freelancer or something like this.
Yeah, so basically, ultimately, the main vision of this whole blockchain ecosystem is really to enable, to adopt, and to integrate so the people across the world could be part of this whole process. So what we do it as a synopsis, we aim to improve, automate, and increase the account payable process for freelancers, contractors, small and medium enterprises in emerging markets and also in a Western society.
Well, you heard the man. He said it very well and eloquently right there. So, okay, so where are you guys? What's the website?
Yeah, so the website is kilero.io.
And so where are you guys kind of in the, are you going to do an ICO or
yes.
Where are you guys in this whole process?
Yeah, so basically we will be conducting an ICO. Right now we said to ourselves, first and foremost, it's important to really build out the infrastructure in terms of technology first, before we think about raising any capital first and foremost. And I think this is extremely important. Why? Because it really builds trust. It builds credibility with our community and people that want to contribute towards our project. And there we can be able to then move after. So just to go a step backwards quickly, as one of our unique use cases, it's been estimated that within the next 10 to 15 years, there's going to be about 10 billion people in the world. 10 billion is huge. Right now, there's about 7.2, 7.3 billion people. So currently across the world, there's maybe about 560, 570 million small-scale farmers. These farmers produce 80% of all the food we eat today. Incredible. So as the population grows, it's going to be very, very difficult for these farmers to increase the production to meet that global population increase. So there's a big of a disconnect. Understanding about education, so how can one who has an existing arable land, Latin America, Southeast Asia, Africa, how they can be able to increase the quality of fertilizers. But most importantly, a lot of these small and medium enterprises, let's say farmer as a use case, when they supply or send goods cross-border, they have to wait 30 to 45 days to get paid. It's a big issue. You've already invested heavily in harvesting your crops, and now you have to wait for nearly 2 months to get paid. But most importantly, in these jurisdictions, it's a cash-based society. When I produce something and I get paid, I move on to the next transaction, which means there's no transactional data. There's no documentation behind the flow. So we, via our dashboard, supply chain dashboard, empower and enable these individuals to create invoices, credit memo, purchase order. This is then sent to the client via our dashboard. Then the transaction hash is then generated on the blockchain, which ultimately builds the trust. Because right now in these jurisdictions, there's a lack of trust. And this really breaks down, enables this decentralized, let's say, ecosystem to really take an effect. But most importantly, with the transactional data, the aim is that one can actually now have control and basically become their own credit rating. So one doesn't need to rely on credit union or any of these Experian type companies. And what then happens is they can then have a better understanding in terms of their business, revenues generated, their cash flow, but most importantly, this can then be taken to a crypto fund. This can be taken to a private investor that initially said, I didn't trust you before, but I trust the blockchain. Sure. So what then happens is this becomes an empowerment. Then they can hopefully have the opportunity to have access to capital. Our big, unique selling proposition is not just this, but what we realize as human beings, yourself, you look quite like a fit person, I must say, you must go to the gym. But second to our health, time is the most valuable commodity. Time. So what we realize is that people want to do things quicker and more efficiently. So what we're doing is we're building a voice recognition added to our interface, which will enable someone in a rural area that may not have finished school or university, who might be illiterate, for example, but that person could say, I would like to create an invoice for $100, send it to this person's email address, Voice converts to text. Text creates the invoice or document, and the document is then sent to the client.
So it really is interesting. I always like, even when evaluating companies myself, when the company kind of finds their niche, you know? And it seems like